Hello, and welcome to I Am Here in Practice. I am Santina, and this podcast is a companion to my book, I Am Here, a daily companion for living inside change. Each episode is a reflection inspired by one day in the book. We'll spend a few minutes exploring the day's idea together and what it could look like in real life. Alright, so today is day 6, Inner Weight. And this is about the weight we put on ourselves, like the way we speak to ourselves. The voice that I spend the most time with is my own, right? So it's always there, even when I try to get away from it. It meets me before anybody else does in the morning, and it's often the last voice that I hear before I fall asleep at night. For years, I paid attention to what that voice was saying, but I never really paid attention to how it was saying it. And lately, that's what I started paying attention to the most. Not the words, but the tone. Is it a patient voice? Is it hurried? Is it understanding? Or, does it always seem to be asking for a little bit more? I realize that the tone matters just as much as the words. Actually, I think the tone matters more. Because tone is something we can feel. Even a simple sentence can sound encouraging, or it could sound demanding, or supportive, or disappointed. The words may never change, but the experience of hearing them changes completely. I began wondering, what it would be like to live with a voice that felt less like. I began wondering what it would be like to live with a voice that felt less like a critic and more like a companion. Not a voice that pretends that everything is fine, because I would never trust that voice. And not a voice that ignores what's difficult. Just one that stays kind while telling the truth. That thought stayed with me for a long time, because I don't think most of us would choose to spend our days with somebody who spoke to us harshly every time we were tired or overwhelmed or made a mistake. And yet many of us have learned to accept that tone from ourselves without ever questioning it. It's not because we're unkind. It's just that it's a familiar voice. We've heard it for so long that it can begin to sound like the only way to speak. But I've been discovering that I don't have to silence that voice. I don't have to argue with it. I don't have to replace every difficult thought with a positive one. Sometimes all I need is another voice beside it. A quieter one. A kinder one. One that says, it's okay to slow down. Or, you're doing enough for today. Or simply, I'm still with you. Those words don't erase what's hard. They change what it's like to move through what's hard. And that feels important, because I started to believe that the relationship I have with myself isn't built in extraordinary moments. It's built in ordinary conversations that no one else ever hears. Little by little, those conversations become the atmosphere that I live in. They shape how much pressure I carry, how much patience I have for myself, how willing I am to begin again after I've had a difficult day. I've realized that changing the atmosphere doesn't begin with finding the perfect words. It begins with noticing the voice that's already here, listening without judgment, becoming curious about its tone, and when I can, offering myself one sentence I'd be grateful to hear from someone I love. It just takes one. Because maybe the way we speak to ourselves isn't a small thing at all. Maybe it's one of the ways we learn what it feels like to live with ourselves. Thank you for spending a little time with me today. I hope you found something here to take with you. Take what works, leave the rest.